Greetings, everyone. This is Ben Steinwand. In this video, I'm going to show you three things. A pretty simple strategy for investing money in the American stock market that has been working for me. This tool that I use to implement that pretty simple strategy. And then just some cool things that you can do with Google Sheets to implement stuff like this. Okay, so the strategy in general that I use is kind of inspired by something Warren Buffett said, which is, hey, if you don't know all the specifics about these companies, you can pick a exchange traded fund, ETF, in an industry. So ETFs kind of represent an industry. An ETF for, say, pharmaceuticals will buy a bunch of different pharmaceutical companies. So instead of buying all these different specific pharmaceutical companies, you can just buy the ETF, and that kind of is an investment in the pharmaceutical industry as a whole. So that's not exactly what I do, but it's something along those lines. And what I wanted to surface was something I found over the past couple of days. A lot of painstaking research. A couple days ago, found that oil was the good investment, and it was. It did fantastic. And then yesterday it was airlines, and it did fantastic. And I was thinking, is there a way I can use the data and visualization of data to tell me at a glance what I need to know? Tell me at a glance, what I'm doing this kind of research to find out. And this is what I came up with. Don't think that's perfect, but I think it's pretty cool. So let me show you. And in the course of that, we'll talk a little bit about Google Sheets and what you can do with Google Sheets, Google Finance. So what we have here is in each of these tabs, we have a representation of an industry. Typically, I start with an exchange traded fund on the first line, right? For example, that's an exchange traded fund for oil, and then some well-known companies in the oil industry. And I don't know if this is a great representation. Obviously, the more lines I have, the better, more meaningful that average would be. And this average is what's important for this strategy, say. So the way that this all works, all of these values, except for this one, they're all lookups using a Google function, Google Finance. If I say Google Finance B12, B12 gets me this value, the stock ticker. And this one gets the price. This one gets the name. And this one gets the daily change percentage, which I'm so interested in. And then some other values that I thought are interesting. So what I'm doing here is I get these daily change values, and then I average those together, and hopefully that's a fairly good representation of the industry. If I've done a good job picking these companies, then there should be some continuity. I should see a kind of a trend here. Also if the theory if this theory is true, that industries tend to go up and down. It's not just individual companies, it's really industries, news and trends and economic events that affect one company in an industry affect all the companies in the industry. It's a theory. I don't know if that's true, but it's what this strategy is based on. So we take this average, and if I've done a good job picking my stocks, obviously if I had more stocks, there should be some continuity, and I think in general there is, right? So for example, if we look at infrastructure, we'll see they're all up a little bit. We've got some leaders and some laggers, but they're all up a little bit. In high tech, I don't know that this one was a good one. I think these companies kind of are so big they stand out a bit on their own. I just thought it was fun to have a high tech. See here in online retail, look, they're all down a little bit. And then here our ETF, which aggregates together online retail, they're up 0.05%. So they did pretty well for being in this bad industry today. They must have some smart people over there. Pharma also, look, they're almost all up. We got one Pfizer is down a little bit. Otherwise, they're all up. In this case, our ETF was our leader. Look at that. This ETF, I think, is also bringing in stocks from China, whereas otherwise these are American pharmaceutical stocks. Okay, so in each page that represents an industry, I've got this average percent change. And then you can look down here at this chart, which kind of shows your leaders within that industry, the companies you're interested in with that industry. And then this is a clever little thing I thought over here, this link. If you click on that link and then go down here to this representation, this is doing the same thing. It's pulling B12 B2 in this case, B2. And it'll give you this link, and then you can go out here and, whoops, the wrong one. They may not always work because they're actually search links. They're not links to specifically to stocks. They're Google search links. So if we go to search to PFE, I think that'll bring us Pfizer up at the top, and we can look at some more substantial and interesting information about an individual stock. It's really the ability to aggregate together data is what I was interested in here. Aggregate together data and visualize it. So then I take all of these different industries, and I want to put more of them in here, and I bring those all here to the home page, right? So I'm just pulling in, this is just a lookup, it's a single lookup. So it's just going in and getting the value from the oil tab. It's getting that average, 0.54. And laying those out here, and then this shows this chart. So this chart should basically tell me something that I already knew, right? Which is that while oil was doing great a couple days ago, today it's airlines and infrastructure. High tech would, as great as those companies are in high tech, that's not where you want to put your money if you want to make money, not today. Pharma did okay. But again, if we're trying to make money, we want to be in the one with the greatest percentage of change. That's what's key, right? So if in the morning by 10 o'clock or something like this, and you can't always count on day after day, for things to stay the same for a couple of days. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But by 10 or 11 o'clock, Eastern time, stock market's has been open for a couple of hours. I should be able to look at this chart, and it should tell me which industry is having the biggest positive percentage of change. And then I could go in here, like in the case of airlines, I could come in here and I could say, okay, which ones are my leaders, right? People sometimes shy away from, I think people get shy about investing in something that's already gone up a bit. We feel like, oh, I missed the boat. That's wrong thinking. And people have this kind of reverse psychology, and they see a stock going down, they think, oh, now's the time to buy. That's called catching a falling stock. That's not really what you want to do. You don't know where the bottom is. When a stock is going up, it's going up. It's usually got some momentum. So yeah, if you can guess the night before, if you can, kind of be looking at these industries and watching them over time, you might, have a feeling of, what's going on in the news, what has particularly affected this instances is that the countries are starting to open up, and they're starting to allow airlines to fly again. So you have these airlines that had gone really, really low, and there's anticipation it's summertime. They're going to open up and start allowing airlines to fly. So that's the news that drove this. A couple days ago when oil was big, it was just that the economy was opening up in general. Trucks were going to start driving again. People are going to start driving around in cars. Airlines are going to start buying oil. So the news kind of affects industries like this. So having this kind of visualization, also helps you to think about things in terms of industries. And then when you see something going on here, and you can see which ones are the leaders in that day, you can go drill in and see, okay, who is big here. Also, you can change these on the fly. Well, you can't change my spreadsheet, which I'll share with you. You could have your own, but you could change it if you wanted to see something else here, right? I could just go in, it's that DAL. I could change that to LUV. Boom, see, that'll sync up. There's LUV right there, Southwest Airlines. Put it back to DAL. Yeah. All right, well, that was what I wanted to show you. I'll put the link to the document. It's shared with anybody who has the link, so you guys can look along with me. I'll put the link to that in the video, and I hope this was helpful to you. Maybe you'll use some of that know-how to create your own helpful sheets, and if you do, I'd love it if you'd come back and share that link in the comments to this video, and let me see what you've created. All right, thank you very much, and good luck.